Hey, did you miss us? Because we missed you. This is LidLine Sports. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to LidLine Sports. Thank you for listening. I'm Pep. We got my man MC and O, or O and MC. There's no order here, right?
Nah, none at all. None at all.
That's
none at all.
right. And I'm going to be the first to say that I missed you guys. I missed you guys last week. I missed you guys, you know, during the week when we're not hanging out and chopping it up and stuff. So I look forward to Monday nights. Yeah.
I missed you guys too.
Yeah.
Last week was unforeseen, but
Yeah.
the week before that, you know where I was.
You
Yes.
know, it's we're in that time too in the summer where
There's a big lull.
yeah, just you don't know what's next. So it kind of was a blessing in disguise. Now we have a lot to kind of talk about and
Right.
squeeze in what we can.
Get some recap over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because we had the Wimbledon final, men's and women's. The women's wasn't so special at all. It was both straight sets victories. But the Wimbledon men with Yannick Sinner and Alcaraz went toe-to-toe.
Sinner is a bad man.
Yeah, and then, Alcaraz was the defending champion 2 times over. So Sinner got that win. Did you watch that, by
Yes,
the way?
I did. And now I didn't know that when Alcaraz made that incredible comeback against, or I don't remember what slam it was, but it was against Sinner. He was pretty much down to his last. I didn't know it was against Sinner.
Mm-hmm.
Now they said Sinner pretty much had him on the ropes and should have won. Sinner just pretty much outplayed him in Wimbledon, and it was almost not even close that he was the better tennis player in this match. Now, these guys I feel like are going to be, I don't know if there's already like a budding rivalry. I know there's a lot of respect between the two, but those two, man, there's going to be some fun matchups down the road. Now, on the girls' side, we did see Coco get out early.
Mm-hmm.
So, hopefully, we work on that because we definitely want to see Coco making it far to the championship as well. But all in all, the Wimbledon was fun. We know what it's all about. All the ritzy people all dressing up in the stands. The older I get, is just enjoying tennis and these tournaments.
Older. He's so old.
Didn't you see me kind of smirk?
But my mom, she's talking about going to the U.S. Open next year in
New York.
That'd be super fun to go to if we're able to make that work. But I'd love to go to a slam. Definitely would. I wish I would have been able to see Serena. But I would love to see Coco, Sinner, Alcaraz, all those guys.
Yeah. Yeah. So the women's final was straight sets 6-0, 6-0. Man. That's crazy.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen. But it did.
No.
Shout out to who did win, though.
Yeah. I can't even pronounce the name. Swiatek? Swiatek.
Shout out to her.
Yeah, she beat the American. I can't even get that either. So sorry. No offense, but so in the men's final it was 6-4, then 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. Alcaraz won the first set 6-4, and then Sinner won the next 3 6-4. So so that was pretty interesting. I know Rhonda got a kick out of watching that. She's a big tennis head, and so is Nancy Conyers.
Yep.
So I know they enjoyed that. And of course, after that, during last week, we had the All-Star game for the Major League Baseball. And so that was pretty good.
That was fun.
Did you watch the home run derby?
Oh, yeah. More so fun because a Big Dumper won it.
Yeah.
You guys don't know who Big Dumper is. Crazy nickname.
Yeah,
that
we
is
know.
Cal Raleigh.
Cal Raleigh, yes.
But watching the first round, he was on that cusp. But I was like, he ain't making it. And then I think they did it by whoever had the longest home run.
Yeah, by an inch.
That's crazy.
Or less than, actually.
But you see what he did, though, after that. He adjusted and just hit left. He said, forget the switch stuff. I'm just going to go left.
Yeah, but I feel kind of bad for Brent Rooker.
I do too.
Yeah, because they should have just had a swing off.
That's what I thought that was going to happen.
But whatever. I guess there's only so much time they could put into it, so they didn't want to. I mean, it's already long enough, right? A couple
Yeah,
hours, whatever. And then, my Yankee Jazz Chisholm had no business being in there.
Yeah.
He had a total of 3 home runs. So, man, what the heck?
And clearly on social media, they was getting on him.
Of course.
But when an athlete gets butt hurt, when his rebuttal to a fan is always, I'm doing better than you, I got more money than you. That's all I
Yeah, that's corny,
Yeah, it is
right?
corny.
It's like I'm doing better at life.
Yeah.
Is the new thing,
Yeah.
I guess. My life is better than yours.
So that's how you know that whatever the fan said got to him.
Yeah.
Kind of like when a ball player says to another ball player, "I got a ring, you don't have
Yeah.
a ring."
Right.
Yeah.
Nah. Yeah, you guys remember those. So yeah, Daniel still says that.
That's the only thing I did watch was the home run derby because you were at my house for a minute and then you broke. But I didn't watch the All-Star. I kind of watched it, but I didn't
watch All-Star.
It was a blowout, and then I got mad because this guy texted me, and I'm like, "What? It's tied up." And then they had then they had a hit off.
Yeah, because it was 6-0.
Right.
And then American League came back, got it 6-4, and then in the ninth they tied it up. And then, I'm thinking, oh, extra innings.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Because I haven't watched an All-Star game, honestly, probably since I don't know how long. I don't know. That's how long it was. And so I actually watched probably from the 6th inning on. And I was like, oh, this is pretty entertaining. And then, when they did the swing off, I was like,
Now, explain to me, in the swing off, were you able to pull people who were on
no,
the
they
bench?
actually
designated
they
players
do that
already
before the game
That's
even starts.
stupid.
Yeah,
That's
designated
stupid.
players that are if it goes to a swing off that go battle against each other, and whoever hits the most home runs
Now, it
wins.
would have been nice to have the top dogs in it, but I mean, I guess since you guys said that it was picked out before, then that means there was an opportunity, but just didn't happen. But that was the perfect time to see Aaron Judge, Kyle Raleigh, Brent Rooker, and whoever's on the NL side. That would have been really dope.
I think they should do it that way. Pick 5 players for each team and make them go in order. Before the game starts, have 5 players picked out in order. And that'd be a nice way to do instead of just 2 guys battling it out. And the one that won it, he didn't
Kyle
miss.
Schwarber.
Yeah, he didn't.
He
couldn't.
does,
He was knocking them out.
Yep. He knocked in all 3.
And what did Rose Reynolds?
He got 1 out of 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All in all, I don't know. The All-Star MLB All-Star Week is about the home run derby. The game is somewhat fun, but it's tough for those. I mean, when you're throwing in different pitchers every other inning, you got
Brian Wu got a 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
So that was good to see.
Didn't they have an All-Star game here in Seattle
2 years ago?
Yes, sir.
And before that, didn't they?
03 or
Yeah,
1.
I went to that one. I went to the one in 01 with my sister-in-law because my Allison didn't want to go, so I went with my sister-in-law and found $20 on the ground and got and an All-Star baseball out of it.
Okay.
Nice.
And then guess who signed it?
Felix.
Felix.
King Felix. Yeah.
King Felix signed it for me. So I was like, really sweet. And a bobblehead. He signed his bobblehead for me. So I got a King Felix All-Star ball signed and a bobblehead. So
you can't beat that. That's pretty good.
Speaking of Mariners, so we didn't get to talk last week.
Right.
So before the All-Star break, they went and played the Yankees and then played the Detroit Tigers. Now, it's just so funny because you guys, it's just every time this stuff happens, I just listen to you guys in the back of my head, and you just look at them like this is so Mariners. They go out, get their butts handed to them by the Yankees, then come back and get to the best pitcher in AL, and then end it off with a sweep. I just don't get. It's so hard to grasp the Seattle Mariners, and I don't get it. But I just don't get it.
It's good. I'm happy for them. As much as we bash them, I'm happy for them because they had me scared for a minute. And me and Pep was saying, if this last series against the Astros, they got to at least win the series. They don't have to necessarily sweep. They got to win that first game and then either the second or third game. And they did well. They won the first 2 games. And then the Astros said, well, we're not going to get swept. And And so, hey, they haven't turned the corner, but they headed down the right path.
Oh, I have no complaints about these last 3 series. Yes, you would have liked to see them at least get a win in New York, but how they got manhandled, to see how they bounced back against the best team in baseball, and then come back home after the All-Star break, take 2 out of the 3 versus the really good Astros. But not only that, Julio's woken up. Rosarena has woken up. JP's hitting great. And, of course, we already know what Cal's doing. You got now 4 guys who are hitting the ball really well. We can just find 2 guys who can just get hits when it matters. And like I said, we'll see what happens at the trade deadline and all that. But these guys are on the right path. They're down 3 games to the Astros. They're, I think, the second in wild card. Let's see if these guys can start creating some real momentum. They play Milwaukee tonight for a 3-game set. It's going to be every series matters from this point out.
Well, had we done the show last week, I was going to say that the Mariners, in my opinion, when they play the Astros, they had to win the first 2. Because if you win one, then lose one, it means it really didn't mean much, because the Astros would expect that, right? So Astros are going to come in here and try to take 2 out of 3 themselves. They knew they weren't going to come up here and sweep the Mariners, so they wanted to come up here and win 2. So Mariners, in my opinion, needed to win those first 2 to let the Astros know we are here, we're coming. If they'd have did the win lose win scenario, I would take it, of course, because 2 out of 3.
I was about to say, what's the difference between?
Yeah, it's no difference, but I'm saying the difference is in psychology, mental psychology.
Mental, yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. I get it.
Not the overall
and
difference.
So they did that, and then they lost yesterday. But see, I wasn't upset about that, because the Astros are a great team.
Yeah,
and you're just not going to sweep them.
That's why they're leading the division,
right? And and you see what they did to the Dodgers 2 weeks ago.
Yep,
they destroyed them, and then and then of course Milwaukee has followed suit. Milwaukee has beaten the Dodgers every game. They won the season series 6-0. So are the Dodgers juggernauts? Well, me thinks not.
Me too.
Yeah. So. But now, Houston had a little bit of a lull because after the Dodgers series, they played the Guardians at home and got swept.
Yep.
So, every team goes through some peaks and valleys. And, it's going to happen. And right now, I think it's time for the Brewers to hit a valley, because they've won 10 in a row and they come up here hot. Now let's see if Kirby and company can slow them down and calm them down a little bit. And I'm hoping that they can do that. And, look, am I expecting a sweep? No, you can't really expect a sweep. But 2 out of 3 we got to get.
Yep. You know why I want them to beat the Brewers. But...
Yes, because of my shirt today.
Wait, what's the story behind wanting to beat the Brewers?
Because
that's how we lost the Pilots.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
something new every day.
Just like they got bought out. We had when we watched
after one season.
Season, the Pilots played at Six Stadium, and then the Brewers came in and bought them, and they've been that's kind of like OKC taking our Sonics.
So it was personal then.
Yeah, I cried as a kid.
So did I.
It was our major league. We lived right there in the neighborhood. That was our major league team, and I'm telling you, I played baseball and I cried. I was like, wow. After 1 year,
1 season, bro. Can you imagine?
You don't know how fun it was for us to go down to Six Stadium and watch professional baseball for cheap.
Bro, Hank Aaron, Willie Mays.
And especially back in your guys' day, even like when I was a little bit of a kid, I feel like more in your day as a kid, baseball was really popular. Baseball was really popular.
You know where Six Stadium was at, right?
No, I don't.
Lowe's. You know where Lowe's is at?
Oh, interesting. Okay, I should have known that.
That's where Six Stadium used to be.
Dang, right in the middle of the
in the hood.
Yeah,
in the hood.
Okay.
And they used to get packed.
And I've always said, before Key Arena got redone and before Chris Hansen was trying to get Soto, I said the perfect place for the Sonics Arena would have been where Lowe's is.
So and it's stupid that the city allowed that to happen.
Yes.
Even though the Pilots got sold, they still should have kept Six Stadium for high school baseball, and college baseball. It could have been utilized for sports. Instead, they did what they did.
And the second most important thing about Six Stadium, that's where a lot of us learned how to drive.
Yes,
that parking lot.
Okay,
not just cars. Every summer they would bring every summer they would bring a container full of Honda mini bikes, and they would have the Honda Club, and they would teach you how to drive mini bikes in a big old parking lot.
That thing was huge.
Huge.
Yes, and it had little valleys and peaks too. It was kind of weird the way it was, but you know how Seattle is with the hills and everything, and that parking lot even had hills. It was crazy.
Get your drive on knowing it.
Yes, that's what I learned. My sister learned. Just about everybody. You go down there on any given Saturday that there was no baseball game.
Somebody's learning to drive.
That somebody's there getting their drive on.
And they used to have concerts there. Jimi Hendrix played there.
Right.
Rufus Thomas played there. I seen Rufus. I didn't see Jimmy.
You don't know who that is.
Oh,
Jimi Hendrix?
No, Rufus Thomas, man. You don't know who that is.
Nah, I don't know who that is. Yeah.
Funky Chicken.
Yeah, Funky Chicken.
You don't know that.
And they used to play. They even had.
Ain't no bump no more with no big fat woman.
Right.
See, you don't know nothing about that.
And they had wrestling.
See?
Okay.
Yep.
Hey, y'all put me on.
Andre the Giant and all those guys.
You don't know about KYAC. You don't know about that.
Y'all lost me.
Wait, but didn't he just say he getting old?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, for teenagers today, he's old. He's definitely old.
Well, it's 0-0 right now.
Right.
He's got one on bottom of the third, so
okay.
Not bad.
Get something going.
Not too great. Yeah, trying to get something going. But yeah, I really see, and I'll keep reiterating this to you too.
Sure.
The Mariners got to get there. The Mariners get there. I like their chances versus anybody. Now, I'm not saying that they're the favorite to come out the AL, but like I said, whoever the favorite is or whatever, the team that they would not enjoy playing is the Mariners.
Yep. Well, I already counted them out a couple weeks ago, so I'm still going to stand by that. But I will say this: trade deadline is July 31st. So if they do nothing or do something insignificant,
then it is.
That'll tell you.
Yep.
That'll tell you.
And there's no way with all the pieces that are possibly could be on the move and the holes that we do have, there's no way the Mariners go through July 31st not making a move. I don't see that happening. They've already said that they're approved to spend more for the trade deadline. Now, who is it going to be? What are they going to be willing to give up? Just like you said, Pep, I think you brought up that how Harry Ford could possibly be up for grabs right now, thanks to Cal Raleigh being the superstar-esque player now. And not Luke Raley, but who's the backup catcher?
Oh, Garver,
those two.
Yeah.
So yeah, which column becomes who I just said? Harry Ford becomes available.
Well, he's
now.
a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
Sure.
But there's no way that the Mariners front office does not go and make moves.
I heard there's a third baseman that they really need to go after. Oh my God, other teams. Yeah, that's it.
Well, do you know how well he's playing right now? He's hit about 5 home runs in 6 games, so the price for him is skyrocketing. And then possibly too, the Diamondbacks just got to 500. So they're now like 4 games out of that.
Yeah, they might be buyers.
So yeah, they're going to weigh it out. I think it's going to come down to the last day.
Who's going to spend the most money?
That's who is going to be just going to go overboard to get something.
You got to do it.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
But
what's the Red Sox going to do with Bregman? That's another thing.
That's.
I think the Red Sox will. I know they're playing better too, but I do think they'll be sellers.
I don't know. They're close though.
Yeah, they are. They're playing really well right now.
Yeah, they're right behind. They're either right ahead of us or right behind us. I can't remember which one, but
the Indians, the Orioles,
Guardians.
Yeah. Oh, sorry about that. Been listening too much Donald Trump lately.
We don't say that name on this show.
Orange Man.
Wow. And Doreen called us Lil O and the Geezers.
I seen that.
Oh my God.
Are you talking about in the American League wildcard standings? It's the Yankees first, Mariners second, Boston, Tampa, Texas, and Cleveland. In America.
Yeah, Tampa's fell off a little bit.
Yeah, I still think Tampa will be sellers. Yes. They know that they're not really playing for anything this season. But like I said, the Orioles, I think will possibly be sellers.
Yeah, they're done.
They have a first.
I keep hearing O'Hearn.
Yep.
Ryan O'Hearn. Here, the name that intrigues me the most for the Mariners, and Doreen knows who I'm going to say. Stephen Kwan from the Guardians. Man, I want that guy here today.
I will love him too. And they said that he's going to be one of those players. If you wow me, maybe he's available. If there's a team that can wow you, it is the Mariners.
Yeah.
But like we know the Mariners, are they going to wow them?
Yeah, good question.
Why do you want him so bad?
Because he's a great leadoff base running machine. He's always on base. He hits for average. And so him leading off, got JP batting second. And then you can keep Cal at third, or maybe you could put Julio at third, batting third, or make Cal clean up. And then you could have Rosarena batting fifth, and then Polanco batting sixth, or you could flip flop those two.
That's a good six right there.
That's a good six piece right there.
I agree. And I'm not asking to have all 9 hitting 250, but you give me 6 guys that you know that when we got guys on base, they're liable to bring in runs. I'll take that all day.
And then with Kwan and JP at the top of your lineup,
and Julio, yeah,
bro,
I agree. Now, there's one name I don't want. I know this was a name that they were possibly looking at last offseason, but it's last trade deadline. He's just falling off, and maybe it's just because he's playing for the White Sox. Do not touch Luis Roberts. Do not.
Jr., yeah.
He's hitting barely 200. He just doesn't seem interested. I just don't think. I know he's still young. I just don't see that that's just something he's just going to wake up and all of a sudden by August he's going to be back to who they thought he could possibly be. I don't see it. Don't touch him. And I'm pretty sure the White Sox still want a pretty solid pieces for him. And I just
you know what that means, right?
They're going to touch. They better not. There's one thing that the Mariners. I mean,
straight for Luis Robert Jr.
They don't necessarily need.
Give up Harry Ford.
I know, right?
Wait, where did Cal go? They just extended him for who? No,
yeah. That's
if it's an outfielder.
No, I'm just.
It better be for just like the Stephen Kwans, or we talked about Ronald Acuna back. It better be for all stars. It's not just because there's bigger holes that needs to be
some of the players though that weren't doing anything have stepped up.
Yeah,
I've been watching like Randy. What's his last?
Rosarena.
Yeah, he's ever since you text me that one time and said, "Man, RA ain't doing nothing."
He wasn't.
But then after that, he started doing little things here and there and helping them win games.
So hacking our text now.
Yeah, or watching the show.
Yeah, for real. Sometimes I think there is a spy out there, because man, sometimes some of the stuff we say, I'm seeing it the next 2 days, word for word. I'm like, what?
AI.
That's how good we are, though.
That's AI, man.
Yeah.
Dominic Canzone. Really weird too.
Yeah.
What did she say?
Solano,
Lil O and the Geezers.
Solano, yeah.
Yeah, Lil O and the Geezers. Yeah. Yeah.
How dare she call me a geezer?
Oh man.
Kirby's pitching against Brandon Woodruff, so that's a great matchup for anybody who's at the game. That's something I would have loved to go see those two battle it out. But yeah, I think the Mariners they're not where we want them to be, but at this moment they're where they should be. They're able to still strike on both ends if it's coming to the wild card, or if it is getting that AL West, which we all.
So there's how many games left now? They're 53 and 46.
That's 99.
Okay.
Minus 162 minus.
So 63 games left.
Good math.
So what's the magic number what they need to hit to get a 90, 91, 92?
That's range? What it's been.
So they're 53 right now. So they got to win 38, at least 38 games.
And I think it has to be. I think it's gonna have to be more than that. I think.
Yeah. At the very least, they're gonna have to win 38 more games.
You think if the offer's right that they'll deal a Julio?
No.
He's not even. That's not even.
Look.
Thing. Yeah, I know.
He's waking up.
Well,
he's playing much better.
Yeah, waking up to eat his cereal, but as far as baseball, he ain't waking up.
We know that August has, for some reason, been his month. He turns into everybody thinks he was supposed to be. So
Don Julio.
We'll
yeah,
we'll see what happens there.
We'll see. I just don't see it, but we'll see. I think he's done what he's going to do, and we'll see, though. I'm hoping for the best. I always want somebody to be good.
What's going on with the Dodgers, though? They really been. They were on a 7-game losing streak. Now they just got swept again by the Brewers because the Brewers swept them a couple of weeks ago in Milwaukee, and they returned and they still went to La La Land, Chavez Ravine, and did the same thing, swept them again. Shohei is playing, so what's the excuse for the Dodgers?
The pitching is just not there. The pitching is just not.
They got every
started.
pitcher in the all-star pitcher in the book.
I know. The thing is, though, half of them are hurt.
Yeah, well, whose fault is that?
No, you're right. You're right. Because the problem isn't them not being able to put up runs. It's the problem that they're giving up a lot of runs. But I don't think
I ain't mad.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if the Dodgers will be able to put it all together in time for me to feel comfortable of saying they'll be the favorite to come out.
So
NL West
who usurps the Dodgers in the National League? Will it be the Mets, Phillies, Brewers, Cubs? Who do you like?
I like the Cubs, man. I do. I think they got 2 really good pitchers. They got hitting across the board. They got a star in Justin Tucker. Seiya Suzuki's really good. They got it all. Just putting it all together. But of course, the team that everybody will say by on paper, and then they're right there is the New York Mets. They should be right there and coming.
They're wishy-washy, man.
Exactly. Yeah,
they drive you crazy.
Be.
They're kind of like Mariners National League.
Yeah,
because they play well, and then all of a sudden, when you think they go to Pittsburgh and get destroyed.
Yeah,
I mean, absolutely killed.
That's why baseball it's funny how it works like that.
It is because
my Cubs were hotter than a firecracker, hotter than I can't say it on the air. But then all of a sudden they got that lull, and then real quick, the Yankees, they were projected to be so well and do so good, and then I asked Pep, I said, what happened?
Oh man,
he's like,
acting up. Me. Yeah, don't ask me. Yeah. It is what it is, man. It's a long season, 160 some odd games.
Yeah.
So whatever it is. All right, when we come back, we're going to get into WNBA. Mm-hmm. We've got some little controversy there. And plus, their All-Star game, that was pretty thrilling, I guess, for those that watched it, all 2 of us. No, I'm just kidding. But, yeah, so don't go away. We'll be right back. LidLine Sports, Rainier Avenue Radio.
You can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio. .world.
Love food? Here's some storage tips to keep it fresh longer. Store cut fruits and vegetables in the fridge. Place in reusable containers. Keep bread in the freezer for longer storage. 40% of food in the U.S. goes uneaten. Save money, save food, save the planet. Visit Seattle Public Utilities for more tips.
Mga kaibigan, ito po si Kuya Bert Kawili.
And this is Miles Salvador from Australia.
And I'm Norb Kawili, also known as Norbcam.
Kung gusto niyo po ang latest news and events from the Philippines at yung local Filipino community, Phil-Am Radio po.
We play Filipino music and interview guests from all around the world.
And I'll keep you updated on the latest Seahawks and sports news.
Kaya always tune in, Phil-Am Radio every Tuesday, 1 to 2:30 p.m. Pacific Time on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
And in YouTube and Facebook. Salamat po.
Women Empowerment Talk Radio, your roadmap to business success. Tune in every Sunday at 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world, providing resources and sharing motivational experiences from the everyday entrepreneur. Tune in Women Empowerment Talk Radio every Sunday, 3 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Get ready for a blast of funky, feel-good R&B. The legends, Function, roll into Jazz Alley for 6 electrifying shows from July 31st to August 3rd as part of their Love Train Re-40th 40th anniversary tour. It's the soundtrack to your soul, live, full of groove. Don't miss your chance to hear the hits hits you know and love all over again. Tickets are moving fast. Grab yours now at jazzalley.com.
I can't sleep.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not being reprimanded by traffic cops, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Oh, the fun and games we have in the studio while we're in commercial. Man, I tell you. Hey, thank you everybody for tuning in right here on Rainier Avenue Radio, LidLine Sports. I'm Pep. Got O, MC, back at you for the second half of the show. They got me triple box, quadruple box. You know, so
let's just look at Pep all day.
Yeah, no, we don't want that. I mean, I was okay with no camera, but that's okay. But I want to thank Bill Walker Jr., Rhonda Dorsey, Doreen Ng, and many others that are silent and quiet and shy that don't want to comment.
Please comment.
Yeah, thank you for listening. We definitely appreciate it. In the first half of the show, we covered some Wimbledon. Oh, you know what I meant to cover, and I might as well do it right now.
Let's do it.
The British Open. Scotty Scheffler won that pretty handily, right?
Oh, yeah, he's single-handed.
Yeah, I watched some of that.
Evident who.
That's what he does.
Yeah, every time I turned it on, he was up 5-6 shots. So I was like, well, you know, he's got to just implode in order to lose this. And sure enough, he did not implode. Gotcha. And so,
I was about to say,
he won.
What was you watching?
Yeah, and he won fairly handily. So that was good to see. But I want to get into the W. That's the WNBA and the women's All-Star game with the Nafisa Collier team defeating Caitlin Clark's team 151-131. Now, is that the highest scoring All-Star game for the WNBA? I would think that it is.
I don't know, but they better not take up after the men. I don't want to see 150, 131.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I get it. Like, this is supposed to be their break. But what I loved, and maybe because the format was different last year, because, you know, they did Olympics versus All-Stars last year. But it was competitive, though, last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want the women to pick up on that. That's not a habit that I want carried over to the WNBA.
Shooting all those threes.
No hoop at all. But, granted, it looked like it was one of the most successful All-Star weekend. I've seen a lot of people talking about it on social media. It was really fun. This was out Caitlin Clark playing, who's dealing with an injury right now. So,
and she was actually coaching her peers,
Mm-hmm.
which was pretty interesting.
I didn't watch it. Did you guys watch it?
I didn't watch it.
I watched the.
I started watching the third quarter.
The challenges and the
I watched Sabrina win 3-point contest.
I didn't see none of that.
3-point. Yeah, what's his name? The two Storm players battled it. Diggins and battled out for the competition. What do you call that?
Challenge?
Huh?
Skills challenge.
Yeah, skills challenge. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Oh, okay,
thank you.
Yeah, I watched none of the competition stuff. And
it was good.
And I forgot what I was looking at, and I was like, "Oh shoot, the game!" And I looked at WNBA scores. And I was like, "Oh, they're in the third quarter. Let me go check it out." So that's when I started watching. But it was already up. They were already up 20 or whatever. But then I saw Caitlin Clark coaching, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And Collier had 36, and Skylar set a record. She's the first WNBA All-Star player to reach a triple-double.
That's nice.
11 points, 11 rebounds, and 14 assists. Most assists in a WNBA All-Star game. So kudos for that. Gabby Williams had 16 in a losing cause, so she played well. And Nneka became the leading scorer in All-Star WNBA All-Star history. So some good stuff was happening for the Seattle Storm players.
I got a little tidbit I wanted to talk about with the WNBA. So we know what the other main topic was over this
Pay.
weekend was
Money.
the CBA,
Mhm.
and that they're about to the CBA is about to end, and they want to renegotiate.
Mm-hmm.
WNBA players, they want a bigger cut of this new TV deal.
Well, I
that's
think
coming in.
the new TV deal, right?
Look, now I wouldn't say everybody, but everybody used to would think that, well, the WNBA is not making any money, so how are the players supposed to make money? It doesn't work like that.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't look like. Clearly the WNBA is getting some steam. We're seeing teams getting into this league for $250 million.
Mm-hmm.
Last time I checked, that's some pretty decent money.
Mm-hmm.
There's clearly growth going on in the WNBA.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And just like they're saying with this new TV deal going on, they should get a bigger piece of that pie.
Yep.
Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched several WNBA games this season?
I watched a few.
Mm-hmm.
So watching those games, didn't you see that most of the time the arena was packed?
Mm-hmm. They are.
So if the arenas are packed, regardless of who's playing, that means that there's a revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And some of that revenue should be passed on to the players because they're helping build it up. Go ahead.
And that's what all the WNBA players are saying. Now, it comes off, in my opinion, it does come off a little when they're saying we need to get paid like the men.
No,
that's
where I have a problem.
Yeah,
right.
That's where it's not going to be because that league's not bringing in money like the men.
Nowhere near.
Now, if you're saying you want as big as a cut as the men,
mm-hmm.
now we can talk.
Right.
Because it's not going to be NBA men's money, but it'll be extravagantly more money than you're making.
Right.
You're probably seeing 7-figure paychecks.
Right.
But we're not going to be seeing no high 7 or low 8. We're not seeing. I don't think the WNBA is bringing in that much money for them to.
Well, every single WNBA team is losing money every year.
So, what do you think on average a WNBA player makes?
Probably $200K, $100K.
That's what I was going to say. So,
and that's maybe
average? No, I think it's probably less than that.
40. No, 40. I think it's 40,
okay.
45.
I was about to say because first round picks.
But you got to remember, they only play 40. Now they're up to 40 games now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they only play 40 games. Men play 82. The NBA has been in existence since 1947.
Mm-hmm.
The WNBA has been in existence since 1997, which is 50 years after the NBA has already been established.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand that.
So the NBA is a known product and high revenue, and they got TV deals that's just astronomical. And, of course, we're not even talking about commercial sponsors. Mm-hmm. And the WNBA doesn't have anything close to that.
No.
And that's where my problem is when they say they need to get paid by like the men. No, that's not going to happen. Yeah. Not for a long time.
No.
So, if at all. So, and it's not the fact that I don't think that I don't want them to. It's just
business.
They can't do it. We're not
just not
in the league.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
That's
Thank you.
Just like I'm glad we all agreed on that. That's my like I said, my question is you guys keep asking to get paid like the men. What does that look like in your guys' eyes? What are you guys going into these meetings necessarily asking for? Like I said, if it's just a bigger slice of the pie, I'm not mad at that.
No,
if you're coming in looking at a number saying that the average WNBA player should be getting this, that's when I can see why they are way far apart in figuring this all out. And I do think there will be a lockout.
Yeah.
I do think there will be.
So do I.
This will be the first time that there is a real voice from the WNBA. They have a real strong government committee behind them. They are going to get every dollar that they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I just hope that they do have understanding over there, which I'm sure they do. That's why I'm saying that whole getting paid like men, I don't think they necessarily mean that. I think they're just saying we want as big as a cut like the men do. But just like you just said, Pep, the NBA has been going on for almost 75 plus 80 years now. Yep. And they had their ups and downs.
Yes.
During the 60s and 70s.
For
before it took guys like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird turning the NBA around.
Well, if you said you hit the nail on the head. Back in 1979, before Bird and Magic came to the league, they're the ones that saved it.
Yeah.
Because the NBA Finals was on tape delay.
I remember y'all talking about that. Yeah.
Before Magic.
Tape delay.
When Magic won his first title, we didn't know about it until hours after it was already done.
Think if somebody tried to do that in this era.
Oh, please. Well, it's
somebody would have still knew.
It's impossible.
Oh, with the betting going on now.
But yeah,
there's just social media and all
I'll
that.
give you another thing. The NFL. Did you know Monday Night Football was on delay on the West Coast?
I didn't know that.
The game started at 6:00 on the West Coast. The game was already an hour in
at our time.
By the time we joined it. But see, we joined it on tape delay. So when you're on the radio, you think you're hearing it live. And that's how my dad got me one time when I was a kid. And I think I told this story a long time ago, watching an NFL game. And I was like, oh, I'm hoping this and that. And my dad said, hey, you want to make a bet? I was like, okay. So I'll bet you $1, so-and-so and so-and-so. And he's like, I was like, oh, shoot, I'll take that. Man, when that happened, I was like, huh? But he knew, of course.
He still take $1?
Yeah, of course. Well, he told me later.
Kept that $1
yeah, I don't remember, but oh, you're terrible.
Only thing we had live back then was Wide World Sports and boxing was and track. But other than that, like the Olympics and stuff but everything else was like either delayed.
Bro.
Or,
that's sad when even the radio is delayed.
Right.
You got to think of that's crazy.
Yeah.
No live broadcast on even the radio. No. Exactly.
West Coast, bro.
But we were still loving it. We thought, we were all. You know what's also crazy though is that the Michael Jordan actually saved Nike.
Yeah,
because they were sinking fast.
Yep.
People, younger people can't imagine that, but they were sinking fast.
Yep.
And so,
people need to understand when they're watching the WNBA, and they always say, "Well, they shouldn't get paid." That's not necessarily true, but yes, I also understand this league is so young.
Yep. But I got a name for you because it's going to get even better.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
They're coming. And you know what else I think is going to happen with that CBA? They're going to cut this whole women having to go to college for what is it, 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to cut that because there's a lot of women that missed out on being in the WNBA and they had no business playing 4 years in college.
Right.
But like I said, it makes it so much fun to watch. Like maybe Caitlin doesn't build this big fan base coming into the WNBA if she doesn't go 4 years.
Right.
But she was still, I think it would happen. Maybe
it was the right time.
Exactly.
So every era or player has their time.
Yes.
And for her, that was the time to do. Because I remember back in the day, Kareem in college, he couldn't dunk.
Yeah.
He wasn't allowed to. Bill Walton, those guys weren't allowed to dunk, back then. So, but things change and evolve. And now, because in college, at one time also, you couldn't even dunk in warm-ups.
I know.
High school,
you can't anymore.
High school,
you still can't.
You can get technical.
Yeah.
It's only in the NBA you can. In AAU, you can do that.
Yeah. That's
some of the refs are lenient in high school, but they can be
they'll pull you aside.
Right.
Like,
say, hey,
chill out.
Right.
But Fudge from UConn and Juju, they have no business still playing in college.
Oh, AZ Fudge is just, man.
They have no business. But my bad.
No, that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Elmer Fudd. Every time I think about AZ Fudd, I think of Elmer Fudd. She is nasty.
They would be starters.
And Hannah Hidalgo.
I never seen her play before. Where's she at?
It's gonna be nice.
I was hoping I was hoping that she would come out because the Storm had the number 2 pick. I was hoping that was who
everything makes perfect sense. And like I said, the WNBA players start getting paid a little more. Now you can start questioning giving up some money in college to go play in the WNBA now. So I hope it all works out.
Yeah,
the WNBA.
There's always somebody that's going to set a precedent. Like in Major League Baseball, thank you for Curt Flood for starting free agency because without him, what would we have?
Right.
Without Curt Flood, would free agency exist?
Yeah.
Perhaps, I'm sure it would, but it has to start somewhere, and it started with him. I mean, he took a lot of heat, going from St. Louis to Philly or vice versa, however it worked out.
Spencer Haywood took some heat for what he did.
He took a lot of heat.
And he made a very big impact on the NBA.
The NBA hardship rule.
Right.
Because, kids in college didn't have the opportunity to make money. And, when you're in college, you can't make any money. And so being in college actually was a hardship for the family. even though they were on scholarship. A lot of families needed those guys home
to help
out,
work jobs,
and so they had the NBA develop the hardship rule, and so things that get the ball rolling, escalate, and now we got NIL, name, image, and likeness.
You see who's trying to control the NIL too now?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Trump. Oh, you didn't hear about that?
Yes. I told you we don't mention that name on this show.
No political.
We don't.
I'm just mentioning it because it's part of what we
don't give him no.
I'm not giving him that, but I'm.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
It is, man. But sure,
stay in his lane, Cheetos.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah, that's pretty messed up. But so the W is definitely building up.
As long as they don't try to get greedy, though,
it'll
everything will pan out. But if they try to get greedy, then it could be a disaster for them.
Yeah. So, folks, earlier today, I was looking at some video on YouTube about the NFLPA situation. We've got Lloyd Howe, who resigned as the executive director of the NFLPA, and then a few days later, I think today or yesterday, whatever, I think it's today, that J.C. Tretter, who was the chief strategy officer for the NFLPA, resigned as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole myriad of issues that I wanted to get into. And as I was going down that rabbit hole, I stopped myself in the middle. I'm like, I can't do this because this show is only so long, right? And getting into all that is going to just be
5 shows.
Man, it's going to be part 1, part 2. Man, nobody's going to listen to that, or nobody's going to remember what we said last week, right? So all I can do, Doreen, if you could help me out, is throw up a couple of links from YouTube on Pablo Torre and Mike Florio. And I think I saw Mike Florio have one on his own today about J.C. Tretter. This stuff, folks, is unbelievable. And this has to do with collusion with the owners and the NFL and the Players Union, and how Lloyd Howe was elected as executive director of the NFLPA. There was some shady stuff going on, and I mean shady. And Lloyd Howe, in and of himself, is pretty shady because he's a former executive with Booz Allen Hamilton Group, and he was the chief financial officer, and there was some shady dealings with that. And all of a sudden, he didn't know anything, about what's going on. And then, of course, recently in the NFL Players Union, he was charging the union fees for going to strip clubs in Miami Gardens and Atlanta, Magic City.
Are you talking about Tiger Woods?
Oh, no. Oh. Magic City. I'm sure you just went there for the chicken.
Yeah.
Ask Lou Williams. But but it's crazy stuff going on. Unbelievable.
Pandora's box.
Man, it is bad, folks. And the NFL is going to be cranking up this week with the training camps. And of course, we got news today that Tennessee Titans quarterback Will Levis will be out for the season for shoulder. So obviously, we know who the starter is, Cam Ward.
Yeah.
We're going to be starting for Tennessee. Desmond Ridder got signed by the Cincinnati Bengals to do what? That's my question. What is he there for? Oh, you got any answer to that?
No, not at
all. MC?
Man, I'm baffled.
Okay. Now, the big news in
Cincinnati. Can he even play?
Yeah, that's no. The big news there is their first round draft pick left and is going back to college.
Oh, I'd seen that.
Yes.
So that's what's going on.
Yeah, he's going back to college. He left. He said, man, forget it. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
He's going back to college. Now, he can't play.
Right.
Because he's already been drafted. But could he start something?
Mm-hmm.
Could he be the Kurt Flood of getting drafted, not agreeing to what the team is offering, and say, look, I still got college eligibility. Yeah,
I think he's going to court and fighting it. And
there we go. Here we go.
Yep, I read where he's going to court and he's fighting it, and he might be granted eligible to play.
Man, that would be something else. I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Seahawks released Noah Fant. Yesterday or today?
I seen that.
Yesterday.
So, you guys got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I talked to several people, and I was kind of hurt a little bit because I like him as a player. He's not a great player, but he's reliable. But I'm not the coach. I'm not the staff. So they must see something in the draft, the tight ends that they drafted, and the tight end they pulled in from Miami. They must have seen enough where they said we're good, because they drafted 2 tight ends in the draft. And like I was telling Pep, though, the draft is a crapshoot. You don't know what you're going to get until they play.
Right.
But they must be showing something in the minicamp. So
Arroyo is one of those. I want to say Kelsey, Kittle ability. As far as Aaron Hernandez, those kind of guys that are
big and
strong and are very good as tight ends, and where they're more sought after as a wide receiver.
Hybrid.
Thank great word. And so the other guys that they drafted are blockers.
Right.
And the guy that they brought in from Miami is a blocker.
Right.
And
he can catch too, though.
Yeah, but that's his job is to block because they want to run.
Block and it's not only block, but the blocking tight end has to be a relief valve.
Yeah.
Meaning he's blocking and then
safety valve.
Right, safety valve.
Yep. And so, but the thing is, the Seahawks are telling you that they want to run.
They're gearing up for the run.
Yes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And if they can get the run games going, that's going to open up everything else for them.
I heard that the Alabama running back that they drafted has been killing it.
What, you mean the quarterback?
No.
You mean
no? They drafted a running back.
Yeah, but he wasn't from Alabama.
No, not Alabama.
Miami. You talking about? What's his name? Oh, he was my guy because he used to play for the Oregon State Beavers. He was killing for them. But I like him a lot. They stole him in the 7th round for sure. But
they might put Fant on the practice squad too.
And of course I like McIntosh. People are crying, saying, "Oh, the Seahawks, they sucked on the run. Ken Walker couldn't run." Well, he couldn't. But that's funny how Ken Walker's yards per carry was like 3.9 or something like that. But Kenny McIntosh was 4.5.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right. So was it the blocking or was it the person? Because I'm confused how a starting running back can't get yards.
Martinez.
Yeah.
Damian
Martinez. Yes.
I heard he was doing well too.
Yeah, he's awesome. Because he was a killer at Oregon State. Ask the Huskies. They couldn't stop him.
Right.
So, But and then, of course, you got Charbonnet still. So, they got high hopes for him, too. But Walker's the one. He's the one that's on the hot seat.
Yeah.
He's got to get together.
Yeah,
he's got to stop.
Make or break year.
He's got to stop breakdancing in the backyard.
Yeah.
Back to you. Yeah. I mean, he's got great moves, but those great moves is getting me 2 yards.
Ain't no cardboard back there.
Yeah.
He's trying to break dance on.
Well, he's doing it because he's spinning off of guys.
You know who he excuse me. He kind of reminds me of
who?
Remember the running back that you hated that would always act like he would get tackled and then get up and clap like he was gonna break it.
Yes.
And it's like, man,
I can't forget. I forget
every
who it was.
every
I can't
play.
stand that.
Every play he would do that. We're like, dude, just give it up. You ain't breaking nothing. You finally traded him.
You're getting tackled every time. Then he gets up, like claps his hand, like, "Oh, I just almost broke that." No, it almost broke your ankle. Man, but yeah. So Ken Walker to me is on the hot seat.
I agree.
He's got to show me something for real. And I'm the one that wanted him here out of college, out of Michigan State. I liked him a lot in college, but his first year here, he was doing. Yeah, I was happy. And then he kept getting hurt, and he keeps on getting hurt, and now he's not producing. And so, look, man.
If Darnold don't perform,
don't be like Procise, please.
Right. If Darnold don't perform, though, Milroe might be right on his heels.
I do think Darnold knows that. I mean, yes, he's here, but if everything starts going south, the Seahawks are still trying to compete.
They're gonna pull him with the quickness. Milrose might get a shot like Jalen did with the.
I heard Drew Lock was doing pretty well too, actually.
Yeah.
So
what?
Yeah, I heard that.
Picking locks or playing quarterback?
Yeah, well, QB.
Okay, QB.
That's what I heard. So
I do want to give a quick shout out to the Charlotte Hornets. They won the first something since being a.
They beat Sacktown.
they beat the Sacramento Kings to win the NBA Summer League. But yeah, to come to find out, that was the first trophy they've ever won. They never won a division.
Wow.
They never won a conference finals. They never won none of that. So shout out to them. And
they still haven't, because you know what? Those are all rookie kids that ain't going to be on the regular team. Or maybe they should put them on the team.
Yeah. I did say I had to shout them out for that. Their first pick, though, Concanopoulos from Duke, played really well. I think he is going to be a bright spot for them.
And don't they got who they got? They got Brad. What's his name? From Alabama last year in the draft.
Yep, Brandon Miller.
Yep,
still got Lamelo. So they got nice young pieces. So just putting it together. I like the coach that they have there too. So we're gonna see if they can figure it out. And then also the other news was Brad Beal got out of. He got out of.
It's not really
Phoenix.
News. Oh.
Chris Paul is also in the Clippers.
Yeah, Damian Lillard.
That's news. Damian Lillard.
That's news.
Yeah, that's
back to Portland.
Damian, that is so
26,
dope.
27, because he ain't playing this year.
No, he's not. But they said he
might.
They ain't playing.
But I think that's so dope because we know, I don't think he wanted to leave. Number one. But it just seemed like there was some give and push on what Portland wanted to do and what Dame wanted to do.
Portland wanted to give him an opportunity to win, and they did right by him.
And they wanted to go young.
Yeah,
but he wanted to win in Portland. But he said, you know what? All right, y'all don't want to.
They did right by him. Yeah. They sent him to Milwaukee, and it didn't work out.
And they brought him back.
Yes, and I think that they are in a better.
Because there was no love lost or anything like that.
He made amends. They made amends. They talked about
really good pieces for him.
Yep.
And now they got to bring.
And he kept his family there.
Yep.
So that tells you something.
Yeah.
So man, so shout out to, and then of course, real quick, the WNBA added Philly, Detroit, Portland. So Portland Fire gets their team back before the Sonics come back to Seattle. So whatever, Adam Silver and the owners, man, get it together. All right. So, all right. Thank you everybody for listening. Carter, Daniel, thank you everybody. We'll be back next week. Rainier Avenue Radio, LidLine Sports. Holla.